up, back road explorers? We're out in the Arizona desert just outside of Lake Havasu City, Arizona, and we are checking out my brother's 2016 Toyota 4Runner. He picked it up about a month ago. It's got just a little under 2,000 miles on it. We've been out in the desert for the past couple hours, cruising through some really cool washes and kind of, putting it through its paces. It's completely bone stock at the moment, and we've been really impressed with its off-road capability. I know a lot of guys give the stock tires like a lot of crap, but the thing is we've been pretty impressed. We've gone up some pretty steep stuff. It's been raining, which is really odd for this area, Arizona, and so there's pretty loose gravel and rock, and we've gone up some pretty crazy steep stuff and really haven't even been peeling out. So I've actually been pretty impressed. Obviously, looks wise, a lot of guys want to upgrade on the tires and some things like that, but just taking out, I'm just always impressed with taking out a bone stock rig and really being able to see what you can do with them. So we're going to continue on our little loop. We're actually going outside. We went just outside of town in Lake Havasu, and we're kind of doing a loop around the Crossman Peak mountain range, and we probably have another hour or two more out on the trail, so let's get going.
If you ever have the chance to explore the Arizona desert, it's definitely something you need to do. In my opinion, it should be on everyone's exploration checklist. I spent 2 years living in Lake Havasu in high school and really learned to love and appreciate exploring the desert in my Jeep. Every time I go back to visit now, I like to spend at least a few hours exploring some new areas. This year, my brother's family was coming down to visit as well, so it gave us the perfect opportunity to jump in his brand new 2016 Toyota 4Runner and do some exploring. With the help of HEMA Maps and Google Earth, we mapped out a nice loop that would give us a chance to really put the 4Runner through its paces and give us a chance to see some of the beautiful desert landscape. Toyota has been making some of the most capable overlanding rigs for a long time, and the latest generation of the 4Runner is no exception. It only takes a few minutes of browsing overlanding videos on YouTube to see just how popular the 4Runner is in the United States. With 9.5 inches of ground clearance and a 9-foot wheelbase, the 4Runner is already stout off-road without modifications. Add in a small lift, bigger tires, and a little bit of protection, and these rigs can do just about anything. There were several steep sections of trail where 4-low was a must. The area had also been experiencing abnormal amounts of rain, and I was worried we would struggle to get enough traction for them. Backing down some of those steep hills would not be fun. When wet, the traditionally hard-packed terrain tends to either turn into soupy mud or loose wet gravel. The loose wet gravel type terrain really didn't cause any issues at all for the stock tires, and we handled things in the mud pretty well. However, it's easy to see that these tires weren't meant for that type of off-roading. The first portion of the trail was clearly cut out of the desert to support the building and maintenance of power lines. Building the road would have been no easy task, especially during summer months, which can reach well into the 120s. The trail was very narrow at times and would have been an adventure to tackle in a full-size truck, which I'm sure they used to carry supplies with.
So I've been at the wheel with the 4Runner for about 30 minutes or so now, and it's awesome. So I've been passenger a couple of times and, been at the wheel like on pavement, but I'm really impressed with how well it handles. The suspension's great. We've been able to go through some pretty washboardy sections, a couple times at 30-40 miles an hour with really not too many troubles. And I really like the approach angle that the vehicle has. Just overall, not that it's any surprise the 4Runner's a really popular off-road and overlanding rig, but I've been really impressed with its overall capabilities. I love the size. I feel a lot like you're in that Jeep, JK range size, which is really cool when you're coming around tight corners, and the handling, you can, pick different lines, and it makes it really fun. So far, after the first 30 minutes, really impressed.
it would take years to explore all of the little offshoot trails. The Lake Havasu area truly is an awesome place to explore. I am always amazed at how beautiful the Arizona desert is. At first glance, things can look a little barren. When you're out in it, you start to notice the beautiful contrast between the vegetation and the desert landscape. The trail passed by several beautiful saguaro cactus. They can take over 200 years to reach their full height of up to 45 feet, sometimes growing just an inch per year. A few sections of the trail required a spotter, some because they were steep or rocky, others because they were pretty narrow, and slipping through without scratching his brand new rig too badly was one of our primary goals. Because many of these routes drive directly up washes, you have to keep a good eye on your map to make sure that you don't take a wrong turn. More than once we found ourselves following a trail that ran right next to our mapped route, but then slowly started to drift off into another direction, making it so that we had to turn around and do a little bit of backtracking. The area had also received so much rain we were able to find a few places with standing water, which is pretty rare in these parts, and we really had a good time.
Well, we've met our match for the stock 4Runner, our loop that we were trying to complete. It's going pretty well, but it was heading into the canyon. It's getting pretty gnarly, and without skids and rock sliders, this big boulder right here, getting up past some of this is gonna really beat up on the rig, so we're gonna turn back.
Overall, I was really impressed with the 4Runner. With the 80 series and the 100 series starting to age, and the 200 series still fetching over $50,000 in the used marketplace, I can really see how the 4Runner will be taking over as the flag bearer when it comes to overlanding and off-roading in a Toyota.
So we have found this cool power line road that we're just cruising down, and it's pretty fun. We're hoping it leads us back to the highway, but overall it's been a ton of fun. And as you can see, there's some odd roads, and we are out in the middle of nowhere. There's like some type of person is trying to do some development and sell some plots out here. And as far as we can tell, other than like the random one house that we've seen that has ran power off of these main power lines, everyone else is 100% off-grid living too. So kind of an interesting little place out. We're like northeast of Lake Havasu. So we're about ready to hit back on pavement. It was a pretty fun adventure. We actually, the road we were going on, you know, we showed some footage of it, but ran into some sections where we couldn't go any further. And so we found an alternate route through Dutch Flat Road, There's a couple gates that just say please close the gate, so you know it ends up looking like it was still a really fun trip, even though we weren't able to complete the exact loop that we wanted. But we're gonna head up this way. We'll hit on I-40 and then head from I-40 towards Lake Havasu. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, you can check us out on Instagram at Backroad Exploration. Thanks.